Hello, welcome everyone to Industries Live from our AWS and Amazon Web Services partner team. This is a show we stream every other Tuesday, and it's a really interesting show where we get to talk to our AWS partners that have solutions that are really specifically addressing some of those interesting and emerging industry needs. And what we get to do is we get to hear firsthand from our partners to see what are those trends they're seeing and how are they cleverly building on AWS to deliver solutions that really address those needs and deliver value to customers and get a full round of that insight. So my name is Jason O'Malley. I'm a senior partner solutions architect here at AWS, and I'm part of our industry and solutions team globally. And I work on the telecom team. This is going to be a telecom themed episode. And I'm from Chicago. I wanted to mention at the top, I'm from Chicago. And I mentioned that because if you're in the chat, if you've joined before, it'd be great to hear where you're joining in from and see where our audience is calling in from. And I will now pass it off to my other colleague from Tennessee, Ryan Sowell, to give an introduction for himself.
Thank you, Jason. And good morning, good afternoon. I'm Ryan Sowell. I'm the Senior Partner Development Specialist for Telco at AWS worldwide. And in my role, I get to work closely with our Telco Industry Business Unit go-to-market team in developing industry line of business solutions. And today, we have a special guest from our Telco go-to-market specialist team with us, Mr. Glenn Hoffer. Glenn, would you like to introduce yourself and share your thoughts on the exciting market innovations we'll be exploring today?
You bet, Ryan, and thanks again. Great to be a part of this live stream, and thanks everyone for joining. I'm part of the AWS telecommunications industry go-to-market, so my focus is really on customer experience innovation and automation. And it's really around focusing and enabling telcos to provide higher value experiences to the customers and businesses that they serve. And it's really an exciting time. Today, we'll be exploring generative AI enabled customer experience innovation within the telecommunications industry. We're going to look at the latest advances in conversational AI and its ability to enable more sophisticated customer self-service. Vonage will be highlighting their innovation in this area. And then we're going to see how generative AI is unlocking new revenue channels for telecommunication companies, really to be able to deliver enterprise-grade customer experience to the smallest of businesses with the DigiClarity solution.
Great, thank you, Glenn. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks for joining us, Glenn.
You bet.
And then at this point, I think we're ready to welcome on our first guest from Vonage. So today we're going to have Lawrence Bird, sorry about that, head of API product marketing. And then we have Oscar Rodriguez, who's the senior director of solutions engineering global. And they're both coming from Vonage. So Lawrence, would you like to say hello and introduce yourself to the audience?
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm based in Silicon Valley. I've been at Vonage for 7 years, but as you can see from my hair, I've been in communication software for many, many years. Vonage provides API building blocks. We've been in this business for 15 years. We also do provide contact center and unified communications applications, but we're here to talk about APIs. So components for voice and video and messaging and SMS and WhatsApp and fraud protection that would be embedded in your application. We work with tens of thousands of customers worldwide, and anything smart we have to say today, we have learned from you, our customers, and the privilege we have of working with so many customers across many industries. APIs are used in many industries. We're a part of Ericsson, the big company that is the leader in 5G networks around the world, and we're working with them in bringing new capabilities from the network that will help with fraud, that will help with quality of connection to communications. But that's beyond today's topic, which is focused on AI. Maybe we'll come back and talk about the power of the network. So, Oscar.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having us. I'm Oscar Rodriguez, based in Southern California. I've been with Vonage for over a decade, but I've worked in web technologies for almost 25 years. I currently lead the Global Partner Solutions team, helping our resale partners go to market with our APIs and solutions through connectors and integrations, both of which are driven by customer demand. I also work with my colleagues in the strategic partnership team and our AWS counterparts on innovation projects that we can take to market together through co-sell activities or the AWS marketplace, where we have several of our projects already listed. By the way, our audience too can innovate with AWS and Vonage. Our APIs are easy to use. You can sign up for free at developer.vonage.com. It's pay as you go. So, and we also have a startup program with a lot of great benefits.
Thanks, Lawrence. Thanks, Oscar. And I wanted to mention before we dive in that as we're going through and having this conversation, please, just like we asked, if you tell us your location, but also if you have questions or comments or thoughts throughout the episode, we'd love to hear what you think of the conversation. So with that, Glenn, did you have a question you'd like to start us off with?
Yeah, Lawrence and Oscar, there's, as we know, there's a lot of very important industry trends that are happening, and interested to learn more about how your company and your solutions are fitting that broader landscape of how companies are leveraging APIs to truly innovate with some of your services.
I think the key trend that we've always seen for APIs is that people are building apps, and the apps have to have a better customer experience. The canonical example is Uber, that took over entire industries on the strength of just a different app experience and a different process flow for customers and a different payment flow. So we serve everybody from two people in a garage through emerging startups and disruptive companies to industry platforms to enterprises that are building digital transformation initiatives. What we're seeing is that there's a sort of new generation of capabilities, and you have to keep up with those if you're going to have a good brand experience. There are things like rich messaging. Why are you not using WhatsApp and RCS, SMS? Nobody responds to SMS anymore. It looks like spam. Nobody answers the phone anymore. Why on earth are you making random phone calls that are not integrated into your applications? Why is there not more video? Why can I never see? I can see my grandparents, but I can't see you, the business. And then right in the middle of that is a huge mountain, which is how do I automate those experiences with AI? So we see AI as part of this general improvement in brand experiences. And we're excited by the potential of AWS Novasonic that we're going to talk about to make that more accessible. Yes, it's an innovation in AI capabilities, but all of us here are still calling up businesses and being asked to press 1 for frustration and 2 for something else. And why is it that they've not managed to move to a good speech interface? And the answer is it takes time, it takes effort. And so we're looking at how do these technologies make it easier, make it more practical. And that's what we want to talk about today is the Novasonic approach.
Yeah, for those of you who are new to Amazon Novasonic, it's a foundational model that is part of the Amazon Nova family and offered through Amazon Bedrock. It's a native speech-to-speech model. So from an implementation perspective, you save a lot of time not having to use different models for speech-to-text and language models to understand and generate responses. And because it's available through Amazon Bedrock, you can leverage tools such as RAG for knowledge-based DIPs, MCP for data access, prompt management, and even testing tools. All of this combined makes Novasonic the perfect choice for building AI agents into omni-channel customer experiences, whether it's adding it to your contact center to handle frequently called about topics like order status, account balances, appointment rescheduling, or even mixing channels. I was actually talking about that the other day with my colleagues. You can imagine an AI voice agent that can send you real-time RCS messages to aid in the conversation, like sending you a selection of products or cruise packages, for example, as an RCS message, of course, powered by Amazon Novasonic and the Vonage voice communication APIs. So, I mean, I think that would be a pretty cool use case, actually.
Thanks, Lawrence and Oscar. And I know, Oscar, you brought up with Amazon Novasonic, which, as you mentioned, is one of our newest members of those foundational models, but the key difference is it's speech to speech, so it allows that conversational flow. And one of the really cool things was just this past summer at the New York AWS Summit, you had shown your latest solution that integrates with Novasonic. And so I'm thinking actually this would actually be a good time to take a look at that, and then we can dive in a little bit deeper. So Jeffrey.
Yeah, just real quick, tee it up. So the demo that we're about to show you is from our participation at the AWS Summit in New York this past July. Leading up to the event, we had the opportunity to work with the Amazon Novasonic team on a virtual assistant that attendees could call to get general information about the event, such as the venue's address, session information, and schedules, sponsors, and FAQs. It took about a week to build by a team of non-AI experts on the Vonage side. So just goes to show how easy it is to build with Amazon Novasonic. Added support barge in, noise suppression, so attendees can call from the potentially loud show floor. It also had to leverage RAG specific to the event. The AWS team promoted the phone numbers through the event app, and we also printed a QR code on our t-shirt, so people were able to scan it from our shirt and call and get information. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look.
It's really.
Hello, I am Diana, your AI voice agent for the AWS Summit New York. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, I was wondering, when is the summit and where in New York City will it be held?
The AWS Summit is on July 16th, 2025, and it's taking place at the Javits Center in New York.
And what is the topic of the keynote session?
The topic of the keynote session is, in the era of generative AI, companies of every size and industry are wondering, how can AI transform my business?
And who will be giving that keynote?
Swami Subba Subramanian, AWS VP of Agentic
Will
AI.
there be a session on Amazon Novasonic?
There will be a session on Amazon Novasonic. It is a state-of-the-art speech-to-speech model that delivers real-time, human-like voice conversations.
Very good. So that I like how you kind of interrupted too to show how it can respond dynamically. It's a nice little touch there.
Yeah,
you want to talk to us a little bit about sort of like how Amazon Novasonic integrates, what you found along the way?
Yeah, so I think we have a diagram teed up there. We can show that on the screen. So here's a high-level diagram of the implementation. As the call comes into the Vonage voice API, we send it through our Novasonic connector, which adds a WebSocket leg to the call for bidirectional audio. And by the way, we've had the ability to connect a WebSocket endpoint into a call for quite some time now. So we have a lot of experience with real-time call processing use cases. And so back to the diagram, the connector then sends the caller's audio stream to Amazon Novasonic, which processes the utterance, also leveraging any tools that it needs to respond to the request, and then returns the audio stream back. The audio is played back into the call through the same WebSocket. And we support integrations into contact centers over SIP or PSTN for both inbound and outbound calls. And we also support inbound and outbound calls from a web page or a mobile app. Lawrence?
Okay, so the Novasonic integration, just to make clear, is the latest in years of working with AWS. We have AWS AI technologies across our portfolio, doing things like text-to-speech voices, speech recognition, captions, transcription, and we're even using recognition for visual analysis. So Novasonic builds on a lot of work that we've done with AWS. And we also announced a year ago work in fraud protection, where the recognition for visual identity checking is part of the work we're doing in helping people about fraud. So what you're seeing here is the focus on Novasonic as a way of very quickly, right? Oscar's team, who he claims is not an AI expert, was able to put this up in a week. We were able to sort of just download knowledge and get knowledge about the event so that the Diana agent there was able to talk sensibly about the event and any session you asked for from any vendor, work out when it was, where it was, just based on knowledge that we sort of pulled off the website and off the other elements. So I hope we've shown how natural the voice was, how it was knowledgeable about the event. It even pronounced the names of your executives right, and was able to sort of navigate its way around. And we'll put up a QR code at the end where you can go listen to a longer version of that demo and also talk to Diana yourself to see what it's all about.
So Lawrence, Oscar. But can you walk us through any early customer feedback you had and any use cases in particular Diana excels at?
Yeah, so in general, as I said, our APIs are used across industries. So whether you're in a better help session in healthcare or in a virtual nursing session, whether you're have a neobank, we have a customer Lydia we recently announced you'll find on our website, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's startups. The Novasonic work has just begun in July because the model itself was released in April, and we had the integration in place in July. And Oscar will start talking about some early healthcare use cases that we're looking at, where obviously there's a lot of information to be imparted to customers that's sort of difficult to get through without a person unless you have a more sophisticated AI model.
Yeah, so we're currently working on several POCs. One in particular that we just developed for a client has to do with the verification over the phone of health or dental insurance, including claim status. Believe it or not, insurance verification by phone is still very common in the industry, especially for the smaller providers. These types of systems use outdated IVR menus to authenticate the provider and to navigate the different menu options. With Novasonic and the Vonage Voice API, we're making it easier for providers to get what they need in a fast, secure, and reliable way. All they have to do is say their provider ID, member ID, or claim ID in a natural language, as if you were talking to a live person. So there's no need to mess around with the phone's keypad and enter long ID numbers. One thing to note is that once we replace the IVR or at least augment it with AI agents, these same agents are capable of handling routine tasks across different channels such as voice, video, and messaging, and even seamlessly escalate to a human when needed, and can even take back control to complete a transaction, for example. It's all about omni-channel continuity and blending automation with that human touch. It's also worth pointing out that complete AI solutions are inherently multi-vendor, and Vonage is also working with other AWS partners such as DigiClarity, who I believe will be on in an upcoming show. Yeah, so that's our experience so far, and we're looking forward to expanding our expertise on Novasonic.
Great. I was curious, Lawrence and Oscar, you integrated this very fast as a new service. I'm curious, like any like context you can share about like what, the prior state versus like what you learned along the way, or any insights along the way about what the new service either allowed or even the speech-to-speech dynamic allowed?
I'll comment first and then ask Oscar to comment. The speech-to-speech is huge, right? You're not needing experts that are busy turning, you don't have all these pieces. You're turning speech into text, you're putting text into the engine, you're getting it out, you're trying to get it spoken right, you're trying to check it. Novasonic is quite remarkable in that you talk and the agent talks back, and all the logic about how to do that and how to think about having a conversation is already in the model. So we think the speech-to-speech is innovative. Being embedded in the Bedrock toolset, as we said, this is a RAG, which is an acronym for retrieval or augmented generation, which means you're living on an underlying, large language model or foundational model, but you're augmenting it and focusing the conversation. As we know, one of the challenges with AI is that AI can easily go off script and start talking about other things. You want to keep it focused, and a knowledge-based approach where you say, this is the knowledge I want you to talk about, and then you fine-tune the prompt is a way of very quickly getting an agent that applies all the underlying foundational capabilities, but applies it in a very kind of focused way. And maybe you want to comment, Oscar, on how we found the AWS tooling. And I think it's a testament to, AWS has been doing AI, as I said before, and we've been using it for some years now. This isn't just a brand new idea. This is building on years of experience, building on the Bedrock experience but producing a new, much faster speech-to-speech approach for these kind of AI agents. Oscar.
Yeah, so I would say it's once you get the audio streams back and forth, the WebSocket integration between the two platforms. And we have a connector which we've put out on GitHub. So if anybody's interested in working with us, we provide that to you to get you started fairly quickly. But once you get that working, the next thing is pretty much just refining your prompt, refining your tooling, making sure that you get the model the data access that it needs to service those utterances. And so you have more time to do that, and in the end, you come out with a much better user experience because it's getting the right data, it's answering the right questions, etc.
Yeah, I think that's really compelling too. And I think we got a few minutes. I was curious, on the architecture slide, I did notice that you have sort of the directional item at the bottom for model context protocol, MCP agents and such. I'm curious just generally, any thoughts, like kind of how you see that? It's early days, but how you see that potentially evolving within the industry or within your solutions?
Yeah, so it's something that's, for example, MCP is really taken off. I mean, it's something that we're looking into. We want to get all our APIs into some type of MCP tool that can be leveraged across AI systems. We're going to likely start with Novasonic, but yeah, making it uniform across the industry, making it easy for developers to leverage these tools and get what they need, whether it's being able to send an RCS message or get number insights, for example, from our identity insight products. That's something that's going to be really interesting as we start getting these MCP tools out there in the market.
And for the audience here, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's a protocol for connecting AI engines to backend data, created originally by Anthropic, but being used by a whole range of vendors, and it's used within the Novasonic product. I'm old enough to remember every form of EDI known to man, but it's good to see a new AI-focused way of connecting applications to data that people are adopting. The most important thing is people adopt it rather than exactly how it works, but it's focused on being a modern interface for getting hold of data. So that, like, for example, in the healthcare use case that we talked about, you're not simply finding your way through the complex sort of set of plans and you're saying, well, your plan allows you to do this, but not that. But you're actually able to see from the data, does the patient have plan type A, B, or C, which is going to make a difference in how I explain it, so that you're leveraging data to make the AI agent more independent, more agentic, if you like, that it's able to work out what it needs to be talking about from specific data about the patient or the plan that's been looked at. So we think that kind of data integration is key. That's always been sort of fundamental to APIs. APIs are doing the talking to your customer, but somewhere the data is coming from a CRM application, from a database, from our customers' apps. Our customers obviously building apps, many of which are running on AWS. They're using databases of various kinds. And we want to say to them, well, look, your app could be using an AI agent. You could build it very quickly, and then it could appear within your applications, within your mobile app, within your phone calls, and we will be showing shortly agents popping up in your video sessions. So we'll get somebody to be you, Jason, here in the coming in. So integration is the name of the game with APIs. And as we've talked about, better brand experiences, customer experiences are what customers are trying to do.
It's great. I love to hear that overview. The solutions architect community here is very excited about MCP and agents. So it's really nice to hear kind of how you're thinking about it and integrating within the ecosystem. So I think with that, we got a couple minutes left. Lawrence, Oscar, any sort of closing thoughts, things you're excited about, things you'd like to highlight?
Vonage is making AI practical, integrating the latest innovations like Novasonic into moments of communication across channels with customers. This latest approach is very flexible and efficient. both on the knowledge management side from Novasonic, and on the flexible use of Vonage APIs to integrate into all kinds of communication flows.
And I would say that the flexibility and the kind of rapid development with Novasonic makes it accessible to all kinds of business, right? If you're a startup or an emerging company trying to disrupt an industry, use AI to help you disrupt the industry. If you're a traditional enterprise moving slowly, you can get moving faster with Novasonic without too much AI expertise, providing you understand knowledge and conversations and a little bit of prompt engineering. And then if you're a company in the middle, if you're a platform provider to enterprises, whether it's a healthcare platform or any other kind of platform, you've got to compete with the startups and and show that you're able to deliver rich experiences. So this is all about digital business, digital transformation for enterprises, and ways of building a better experience. And AI agents are just a necessary part of your experience. So make them a fun part with Novasonic. And if we can bring up a closing slide here, you can find out more by scanning the QR code here or going to vonage.com. And the QR code, you can see the code there if it doesn't scan. That will allow you to talk to the AI agent that we demoed, watch the full demo, get access to white papers. AWS wrote a blog on this exact integration. So there's an AWS blog on the integration. There's a press release from Vonage where we announced it at the Summit show. And we'll be back at future AWS shows showing more and more Novasonic integrations, as well as our broad use of AWS AI across the portfolio. And as Oscar said, there's a startup program if you're a startup, or there's all sorts of programs to get started. APIs are easy. You get started, you sign up for an account, documentation's all online, SDKs are all online. The integration that we just demoed is sitting there openly on GitHub, and you can get started, and you only pay as you go, so it doesn't cost a lot of money until you're doing serious business with your customers, and that's where we all want to get to. So welcome, and come talk to us. And thank you, Jason, Ryan, and Glenn, for hosting us today.
Thank
It's been
you.
fun talking about AWS products and how we can use them.
Great. No, thanks so much for sharing your insights. And I got to say, one of the best demo ideas of being able to actually interact with it. There's not as many cloud demos that you can do that. So hats off to the Vonage team for coming up with that. Well, with that, thanks so much, Oscar and Lawrence. Thanks for joining us. We're going to wrap up this section, and we'll be back in just a few moments with our next guest, which will be Jason Keel from DigiClarity.